Hello, I am Endlessness, and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. We have just gotten a new content drop for this month, January, and it includes a new chapter for Final Fantasy VII storyline, and also gave us a new playable character unit Yuffie. And honestly, for this chapter, I am shocked how much it covered from the events and the timeline, because those 3 chapters, even fourth chapter, the story was going at a slow pace. It was really fine. I liked it. And however, I didn't see how they could cover the whole Final Fantasy VII game in about 10 chapters, because prior to the game release, I think it was Nomura who said those storylines will have about 10 chapters, and until now I didn't see how they can fit everything within 10 chapters, but now I'm starting to see. Those 3 chapters, it was just Midgar. Then Calm was also slow pace, it was very nice, but chapter 5, I expected it will cover Chocobo Farm, Mithril Mine, and then, just as we exited, then we will meet Yuffie. And that will be it. Then 6th chapter, it will be Junon, and so on. However, I am shocked because it covered not only the journey towards Chocobo Farm, then the Mithril Mine, but also it covered the whole Junon. And this is shocking because it felt like slow pace, really nice, and now suddenly it feels like a speed run, which is I'm not really sure how to think of it, but we'll see. It was still a nice chapter. However, what is mildly infuriating is they screwed up the rotation, because we knew that we'll be getting a new chapter every month, and so far it was a rotation. In September, at the end of September for October, we have gotten a First Soldier chapter. Then we have gotten FF7 chapter, Crisis Core, in December. So, according to this rotation, we should have gotten First Soldier chapter. And then next month, in February, we should have gotten FF7. And they screwed up the rotation. It's just me personally, because I like patterns, I like consistency, and it is now screwed up. However, we have gotten Yuffie, and she is a really good debuffer in my opinion. I like her. As a character unit, I despise her as a character, and personally I will never use her. However, I think, and I am glad that she is a good character unit, because some people were waiting for her, they will want to use her, and that's great. That she'll be very good buffer and debuffer for them. Her first limit break is fine. If you max it, it should be about the same percentage as all the other DPS limit breaks, about 2600. But Clear Tranquil, that's a very interesting limit break. That's a new one we have, because it increases physical attack and magic attack, but also that's not all. It applies regen. That's a really small regen, but it also casts magic heal. That heal has 30% healing potency. That's really high heal, because for example Matt, who can be a healer, his limit break has a shield, physical and magical shield, but it casts like 8% heal, which is a tiny heal, but that 30%, that's surprising. However, that's all. If we are already with Yuffie, then yes, if you're a paid player, if you want to pull for Yuffie, you're free to do it. However, she also has gotten a new banner, and honestly, it is a really good one, because Arctic Star, that new ability, this for a buffing weapon, it seems like it is the best ability in the game so far. Because until now we had Matt and Glenn with this physical attack up that would be increased on a single ally. That was the same ability on 2 characters, but now Yuffie's Arctic Star with that feisty spirit, it increases not only a single ally, his attack, but also it increases Yuffie's own physical attack. For a single ally it's mid, then it changes to high. For Yuffie it stays mid, so 2 stacks instead of 3, but you get 2 buffs for 2 characters with a single ability. That's really interesting. I can't say anything else. That's an amazing buff. But that's not all. Physical ability, a physical attack, that's great. For 40-36, that's a standard. However, that buff debuff extension, that's a completely new ability. And for a debuffer, it seems like a very good ability. Because, for example, on OB10, but even on 5-star, the duration is 24 seconds. Then if you can increase it to 30 seconds. But if you stack this R ability, you can get 120 up to 200% extended duration. So, for example, theoretically, instead of 30%, it should be 2 minutes, which is insane. If that really works, that's insane. But also the support materia, it's pretty okay. That's standard, but that weapon ability with that debuff, it makes her an amazing debuffer in my opinion. But also that winter Moogle costume, HP, that's really nice and helpful. But it also has another 10 points into that buff debuff extension. That's a great debuffer costume. If you ever want to use Yuffie, I would suggest or even recommend pulling on that banner because it's really good. But also that's Ultimatic for Glenn. This is even better than Yuffie. Because this weapon is really good. It's, in my opinion, that's one of the best weapons in the game. Because it has great physical attack stat, that's 566, just like that. But also it has 55 boost attack and boost physical ability potency 36. 36 is standard, but 54 on attack. That's huge. But also for if you are building boost physical ability potency in your build, the attack weapon is the only thing we were missing. Because we have 2 physical attack, 2 HP, and only 1 on that generic attack. So that also can be very useful. However, that's not only it. That Skull Knocker ability, it does 10-40% damage. That's a huge amount of physical non-elemental damage with 10% crit chance. That's more than I think any other weapon in the game has, except Zidane from the FF9 collab, but that's exclusive, so I'm not counting it. But this is insane. But not only that, it also has Circle Sigil. It's an amazing weapon, and like I said, in my opinion, that's an S tier and one of the very best weapons in the game. But that's not it. He also gets a X sigil boost, so instead of 3 X sigils, he breaks 5. 2 sigils on 1 weapon. So you have 2 other materia slots for something else. It's insanely good in my opinion. Amazing weapon. The only downside is Glenn didn't get a new costume. And that's really sad because Glenn... I like Glenn as a character, but Glenn, Lucia, Matt, pretty much anyone except Sephiroth, Aerith, Tifa and Cloud, they suffer from not getting enough banners. Barret and Nonaki especially because they haven't gotten a banner in 3 months. and that's really sad. However, let's just go over Yuffie's weapon very quickly. Like I said, she's a debuffer and buffer. And this 4-point shuriken, it is a weapon we have gotten 2 5-star copies of for free. But it's also a pretty interesting weapon because, yes, it deals small amount of damage, but it targets all enemies. And in my opinion, that already has become useful, and it will become even more useful because at this point in the game we are getting more and more bosses with 2 adds or even triple bosses like Black Waltz in FF9. So that means those AoE, those all enemies weapons are becoming more and more useful because we have always those 3 bosses or 1 boss with 2 adds, and it's best if we still target that boss while dealing damage to the adds. So those weapons are becoming really good. But also boost HP, boost buff debuff extension. That's really interesting. And honestly, if you stack that up, 200, that can be really good. Generic materia is pretty good. Oh, this one. The boomerang, it's also physical attack and boost fire potency because it debuffs fire resistance. And it is, in my opinion, pretty good. Because it goes up, it does 2 stacks mid, even at 5-star. It's really good in my opinion. But also great R abilities. Nice. Also 3 materia with 20% to physical. That's also a very nice bonus to have. Good physical attack. That's a really good weapon for Yuffie if you want to use it on her. Because from what I've seen, she can already debuff 3 elemental. I think it was fire, ice, and thunder. So she only misses 3 elements, and she could be your one character that can debuff all the elements if she will get that. But yes, we have other characters with a better elemental debuff. For example, now with a fire banner, we have Sephiroth, who can not only debuff fire, but also he debuffs the physical defense, which is better, but it's a banner weapon and a new one. But for Yuffie, who can debuff 3 elements for one character, in my opinion, that's really good one. And then this one, the pinwheel, is also, yes, it's ice, but also it's a pretty good physical attack stat. Our abilities are the same HP and boost ice potency. That's 40-36, that's standard. Also, that's the same as the fire debuffer boomerang. But yeah, in my opinion, that's really good that those weapons, they have to be useful. They have to be more useful than the ice breach, fire breach, and thunder breach, because you use 1 more AEB. So they are more useful because even at 5-star it goes to mid, so 2 stacks and you deal quite a lot of more damage. But also, if you do not want to use Yuffie, her weapons, those like boost HP, boost ice potency, 40-36, those are amazing sub weapons for example for Sephiroth. Actually, it will not be a great the best sub weapon for Sephiroth because it goes a little bit more into physical attack, so it would be a tiny little bit better for Tifa, Ice Tifa. But for those ice sub weapons, if you want to completely boost ice potency, you need a lot of points. And the only our ability that we are missing was the HP one, so now we have it. But also that's the Razor Ring, very nice magic attack stat. It's also the AoE with earth damage, but it has a lot of boost earth potency. That's 48 points. That's a very nice thing to have. 20/20 on magic, yes, because this weapon is more focused on magic, and because that's magic attack, that's understandable. And this is a very interesting weapon in my opinion, the Crystal Cross, because it increases a magic attack on one single ally. Also regen and heal, that's less important, but magic attack. It goes to mid, so 2 stacks. Ideally, if that's that weapon, that buffing weapon is on a buffer debuffer character, that's fine. But for example, Sephiroth has Aonibi, and it's not really worth to use it unless you get OB6 and you unlock that high potency, because actually you are losing a little bit more damage instead of gaining it. But on Yuffie, who is a debuffer and buffer, and she will not deal a lot of damage, that seems like a still good weapon to use even on mid potency. However, what disappointed me was I was waiting for one sub weapon, and I thought this will be it, because I saw magic attack, and it's 40 if you OB10 it, like max this weapon. And I saw, yes, this is a really good magic attack stat. I saw magic attack and I saw this potency, ability potency, and I thought, is this the weapon I need? And I was waiting for the magic ability potency, and then I saw it's just generic one, so that's disappointing. I wish it was magic ability potency, because for physical ability potency we have a very good collection, but we have almost nothing for magic ability potency. So at least I hope we'll start getting more magic ability potency weapons soon. However, yes, those are also generic good materia slots. This one is, yes, it's the same elemental debuffing weapon. Its thunder resistance goes from mid to high, but this one, unlike the fire and ice, it doesn't have boost lightning potency. It has this buff debuff extension instead. It is quite interesting and a little bit surprising, because I thought elemental resistance decreased. That means we'll get elemental potency on the weapon, but it's apparently not. But it's maybe because we have quite a lot of lightning weapons. That's the only thing I can guess. However, this weapon, the only one from Yuffie's, it has that 30% lightning ability damage boost. And this is really good. So for lightning, that might be her best weapon, because those, she only gets generic physical ability boost on the materia, but here 30% on lightning. That's really good thing. And this weapon, Twin Viper, it seems like an amazing good weapon because we finally have gotten poison, but in my opinion it's really not. Because yes, the physical attack stat is nice, 510, it's also not bad. Also, ailment poison is applied, range single enemy, rate 70%, duration 30 seconds at OB10, that's nice. The rate falls down to 50% and 24 duration at 5 star. And also that's physical, that's boost attack and boost limit break potency, 40, 36, that's standard. However, my issue with poison is I'm not looking forward to it at all. I don't think this is a interesting weapon at all. Not because it's poison, but because we have this ailment, the status we can apply, but 99% bosses in this game are immune to it. That's the same case with the stun. Cloud has a stun weapon, and that's the same thing. Why would you use this weapon, invest into this weapon when 95% bosses are immune? I think I remember only 1, 2, maybe 3 bosses that are not immune to poison or stun. So it is like they don't even want you to use it, because why would you use a weapon with a status that where most bosses and enemies, they are immune to that? That doesn't make sense. But also boost limit break potency. I don't think currently it is a good R ability, because if you use physical ability potency, then it increases all your damage, materia, weapon ability, limit break, summon, everything. But boost limit break potency, it increases only your limit break. You lose damage on your normal materia and weapon abilities throughout the battle. And also from what we tested, at least prior to the patch, but I guess most likely they didn't change it. The boost limit break potency, it doesn't boost your summons, so it defeats the purpose. I know summon, they have this purple bar, not a yellow bar. However, they still count as, or at least should count as limit break, because they are in the place of the limit break. So this ability is not interesting at all to me. And then we have physical attack and boost ice potency and single enemy with 800%. That's a lot for a non-banner weapon. That's the same thing as the ice are, well, the banner ice weapons from Tifa and Sephiroth, because they also have 800. So that's a really good non-banner weapon with, well, it will be a great sub-weapon for Tifa if you have the costume and the weapon for her. But also that's generic materia slots. And the last one is the Magic Shuriken, which is a little bit ironic, because if you have a name Magic Shuriken, you think it will be a magic weapon, but it's a physical weapon. It's a really good attack in my opinion, physical attack. And also this one is, it targets all enemies, the AoE. And this, in my opinion, will be very useful in the new Crisis dungeon. Because there we have a wind element and also a lot of ads that you want to kill quickly. But also 40 and 36 on attack and wind, that's standard. And yeah, everything to both go into physical attack, that's also nice. But this weapon is also very similar to Zack's Falcon. But yes, overall, like I said, I think Yuffie will be a very good character if you want to use her. You don't have to use her, she's not crucial to use, because we have other good characters who can do the same thing. But for new players, amazing banner, and it will be a great character. Also, we have the limited time new chapter release campaign that's also time limited, only 9 days left. So it is very recommended for you to level up Yuffie, because you can get her tickets and also some microcubes and megapods. Those are very good things to get. But also we have this weekly boost for just for Yuffie, and her XP is increased by 400%. That's a lot of damage. Not damage, the EXP you get. You can level her up within few battles. Not... I think you could even level her up in those 6 days with natural stamina, because she gets insane amount of XP. I didn't even farm and I've gone over 10 levels. I will not farm for Yuffie. I will just use natural stamina, because I will never use Yuffie, but just in case I want to have her level up. So if you want ever to level her up, that's the perfect time, because when that boost expires, it will be insanely slow and hard to level her up, and also expensive on stamina. So that's just my opinion. But also, by the way, the exchange in co-op, we have gotten Matt's parts, so grab them before they expire on Sunday or next Thursday. I think it will be next Thursday, but those weekly character weapon parts, you always want to grab them, because we almost never get those character parts, weapon parts, so they're just free. Always grab them every week. We also gone for Tamblin and Mithril Mine. For Tamblin is fine. However, Mithril Mine, it's a hideous and very irritating dungeon, and I despise it. It's way more irritating than La Pena or Logs. It's a hideous dungeon, but also the Mithril Mine, and if you do the normal one, you'll get a new recipe, which is the non-sigil ruin blow. So it's a physical version of the materia we have gotten earlier. However, Criterion dungeons, don't forget it, because yes, you don't get a lot of crystals and items, but you know, it's just some, it's free to participate, to complete it, and also you get few new things. And those two bosses, that's Rude and Elena. Oh, sorry, no, that's Rude alone. And when you see Elena, she's mostly with Rude as far as I remember. But honestly, those two bosses, they are very interesting and, in my opinion, very well designed bosses. They introduce new mechanic with Provoke. Very nice. They are not easy, but they are very interesting. But also we have all gotten Sephiroth, the Arrival, critical threat. And interestingly, this event will take place for the whole January. Well, remaining. But almost 3 weeks. I don't know why. Maybe because we have gotten new players, so they might have a chance to level up and defeat Sephiroth. But that's unusual. I expected the standard 2 weeks crash on second week, but I don't know. This time we have also gotten a new weapon for Lucia, the Feather Skyer, which is, I expected it to be the same weapon as the Thorn Wing and the Levko Kipseli, but you know, those, they increase speed of the physical defense on one character, but Lucia just increases physical attack. I don't know why, because this weapon, I think it was the same as weapons for the Yuffie event we just had, but they gave us this weapon for Sephiroth, and this weapon it makes no sense for Sephiroth, because Sephiroth is immune to everything. So this weapon seems random. Also, one thing I don't like, until now, when we had weapon parts, those weapon parts in Sephiroth Crash or other events, we would always get 100 parts. If they ever appear, it would always be 100 parts, but here, like, this is nothing, and only here that means we are getting only 50 Sephiroth weapon parts and Barret parts. For Lucia, on those silver tickets, it's 100 parts, but it's irritating because I seek those Sephiroth weapon parts, and we only get 50 instead of 100, so that's not great. However, yes, I think I covered the whole new content. Oh, also, by the way, those new extra chapters, this one is Rude, and this one is Elena and Rude. So, both new bosses. Like I said, they are very good, very well designed. Not easy, but very well designed. And in my opinion, one of the best bosses in the game, and I like this in this game, that every boss, they introduce new mechanics, they are unique with different unique mechanics, and not everything feels the same, just a different skin. That's a very good thing. And it makes those battles very entertaining and makes you invested in them. But I expected those to be a lot harder. I just randomly thought, yeah, I'll give it a try, maybe in a month I'll beat it. But they are not as hard as I thought. However, yes, I think I covered everything new that we have gotten, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.